The chicken was burning. I could smell it from the living room, but my hands were shaking too bad to get up and check. My phone had just buzzed with a message that made my whole world tilt sideways. Before we proceed, thank you for watching Granny's narrative. Please subscribe and tell us where you are watching in the comment. Grandma Rose. Stop smiling. Stop talking. They are watching you right now. Do not look around. It's like everything is normal. I will call you tonight. I love you so much. Please trust me. Your grandson Marcus. I sat there on my cream-colored sofa staring at the words. My heart was beating so loud I could hear it in my ears. Watching me. Who was watching me? I looked down at my hands. They were old hands now. 70 years old with brown spots and wrinkles that told stories of washing dishes and braiding hair and holding babies. But they were still my hands. My mind was still sharp. So why would Marcus send me this message? The smoke alarm went off in the kitchen. I jumped up and ran to turn off the stove. The chicken was black on one side. Ruined. I stood there holding the pan, and something inside me just knew. Something was very wrong in my house. In my life. With my family. It was Sunday. Every Sunday for the past 15 years my son Robert came for dinner with his wife Angela. My brother Thomas usually came too. We would eat and laugh and talk about the week. It was tradition. It was family. But now Marcus had sent this message and I did not know what to believe anymore. I threw the burnt chicken in the trash and started over. My hands were steadier now. If someone was watching me, then I would give them a good show. I would cook the best meal I had ever made. I would smile and laugh and act like nothing was wrong. And then tonight I would find out what my grandson meant. Robert arrived first. He knocked even though I told him 1,000 times to just walk in. That is what family does. But he always knocked and waited. Like he was a stranger. Like this was not the house where he grew up. Where his father and I raised him with love and discipline and prayers. Come in, baby. Called out. He walked in with Angela right behind him. She was wearing a red dress that looked expensive. Her hair was done up nice. Her nails were perfect. I looked at my own simple blue dress and felt something I had not felt in a long time. Like I was not good enough. Hey mama, Robert said. He kissed my cheek but it felt cold. Yes. Like he wanted to get it over with. Something smells good. I made your favorite. Fried chicken and mac and cheese and green beans and cornbread. Just like you like it. You did not have to go through all that trouble. Angela said. But her voice did not sound grateful. It sounded like she was reading from a script. Like she had practiced what to say. It is no trouble, said. Cooking for my family is never trouble. Thomas arrived 10 minutes later. My baby brother. Except he was not a baby anymore. He was 65 with gray in his beard and glasses that made him look smart. He worked as some kind of financial advisor. Helped people with their money. I was proud of him even though we had grown apart over the years. Rose, he said and hugged me. You look good. You are a liar but I love you anyway. I said and we laughed. But it felt forced. Like we were both pretending. We sat down at the dining table. The same table where we had eaten thousands of meals. Where Robert had done his homework. Where my husband David and I had argued about bills and made up over coffee. Where I had cried when David died 5 years ago and this same family had held my hands and told me everything would be okay. Now I looked at them and wondered if Marcus was right. Were they watching me? And if so, the meal was quiet. Too quiet. Usually Robert would tell stories about his real estate business. Angela would talk about her friends. Thomas would complain about his clients. But today everyone just ate and made small talk about the weather and traffic and nothing that mattered. I watched them. Really watched them. Angela kept looking at the corner of the room. Her eyes would dart there every few minutes. Robert was sweating even though my house was cool. Thomas kept checking his phone under the table like he thought I would not notice. This mac and cheese is really good, Mama. Robert said. Thank you, baby. I made it just the way you like it. Extra cheese. He said. Then nothing. Just silence and the sound of forks on plates. Angela cleared her throat. To Mama Rose. How have you been feeling lately? Any issues with your memory or anything? My memory, I repeated slowly. Why would you ask that? Oh, no reason, he said quickly. Too quickly. Just you are getting older and we want to make sure you are taking care of yourself. I am 70, not 90. My memory is just fine. I remembered your birthday last month, did I not? Sent you that card with $50 in it. You did, Angela said. That was very sweet. But you never called to say thank you, said. Kept my voice light, like I was just mentioning it. But I saw her face change. Saw guilt flash across it for just a second. I must have forgotten, he said. I'm sorry. We all forget things, Thomas said. It is normal. But I did not forget. I wanted to say, you forgot. But I just smiled and took another bite of chicken. After dinner, Robert and Angela sat in the living room while I cleaned the kitchen. Thomas came to help me dry dishes. We worked in silence for a while. Then he said something that made my blood go cold. Rose, have you thought about what you want to do with the house? What do you mean? I asked. Well, he said slowly, like he was talking to a child. You are living here all alone. This big house. All these stairs. Maybe it is time to think about downsizing. Moving somewhere easier. Somewhere with less to worry about. I like my house, said. David and I bought this house 40 years ago. Robert grew up here. My memories are here. Why would I leave? I'm just saying. He continued. You are not getting any younger. What if something happens? What if you fall or get sick? Who will help you? Have family, I said, looking right at him. I have you and Robert. Is that not what family is for? Course, he said quickly. Course we are here for you. I am just thinking ahead. Planning. You know I am good at that. Said. You are very good at planning things. He looked at me strange. Like he was trying to figure out if I meant something by that. But I just kept drying dishes and humming a hymn from church. When they finally left, I stood at my window and watched Robert and Angela get in their car. Watched them sit there for a minute talking. Saw Angela pull out her phone. Saw Robert lean over to look at it. Then they drove away. Thomas left right after. Drove off in his Mercedes that he was always so proud of. And I was alone in my house. The house they wanted me to leave. I waited until 9 o'clock. Then I called Marcus. He answered on the first ring. Grandma, he said. His voice was shaking. Are you alone? Yes, baby. I'm alone. Now tell me what is going on. He started crying. I could hear it through the phone. My grandson, who was 17 years old and played basketball and got good grades and never cried. He was crying like his heart was breaking. Grandma, I am so sorry. I should have told you sooner. I was scared. I did not know what to do. But I cannot keep quiet anymore. I cannot let them do this to you. Do what, Marcus? What are they doing? They are trying to steal everything from you. Dad and Angela and Uncle Thomas. They have cameras all over your house. They have been recording you for months. They are going to say you are crazy. That you cannot take care of yourself. They want to put you in a nursing home and take all your money. The room started spinning. I sat down hard on my bed. Whoa. I whispered. No, that cannot be true. Robert is my son. Thomas is my brother. They would not do that to me. I have proof, Grandma. I have files on my computer. Videos. Messages between them. Plans. It is all real. I found it by accident 3 weeks ago when I was using Dad's laptop for homework. I should have told you right away, but I was scared. Scared of what Dad would do to me. But I cannot keep lying to you. I love you too much. Cameras, said. Where? The smoke detector in your bedroom. The lamp in your living room. The picture frame on your kitchen counter. Maybe more. I do not know all of them. But Grandma, you have to act normal. If they know that you know, they will move faster. They are already talking about filing papers next month. What kind of papers? Power of attorney. Take control of your money and your house. They have a lawyer. They have a doctor who will say you have dementia. They have everything planned out. I could not breathe. Could not think. My own son. My own brother. The people I had loved and trusted my whole life. They were stealing from me. Lying about me. Treating me like I was nothing. Marcus, said. My voice came out stronger than I felt. I need you to send me everything you found. Every file. Every video. Every message. Can you do that? Yes. I will do it right now. But Grandma, be careful. Dad and Angela are watching you all the time. Uncle Thomas calls them every day to check in. They are waiting for you to mess up. To forget something. To do something they can use against you. Let them watch. Said. I have been taking care of myself for 70 years. I think I can handle a few more weeks. You just get me that proof. And Marcus. Yes, Grandma. Thank you for telling me. You are brave. Braver than any of them. I am proud of you. He started crying again. I love you, Grandma. Cannot let them hurt you. They will not hurt me, baby. Promise you that. After I hung up, I sat in my bedroom and looked around. The smoke detector on the ceiling looked normal. The lamp on my nightstand looked normal. Everything looked normal. But nothing was normal anymore. My whole life had been a lie. I thought about David. My husband who had died in his sleep 5 years ago. Heart attack. Quick and painless, the doctors said. We had been married 45 years. Had built a good life together. He had worked as a mechanic. I had worked as a school secretary. We saved money. Bought this house. Raised Robert right. Or so I thought. When David died, he left me everything. Life insurance. His pension. His savings. Plus my own pension and savings. The house was paid off. I had been careful with money my whole life. Never spent foolishly. Never wasted anything. Now I had almost $1.5 million. Money we had worked our whole lives to save. And my son wanted to steal it. Wanted to lock me away and pretend I was crazy so he could take everything. I opened my laptop. Marcus had sent me an email with files attached. I clicked on the first video. It was me. In my bedroom. Getting dressed. The angle was from above. From the smoke detector. My hands started shaking again. They had watched me in my most private moments. Had recorded me. Invaded my life in ways I could not even understand. I clicked on another video. This one had been edited. Cut up. Changed. It showed me walking into my kitchen and opening the refrigerator. Then it cut to me looking confused. Closing it. Opening it again. Looking inside like I did not know what I was searching for. But that was not what happened. I remembered that day. I had been looking for the butter. Could not find it. Looked in the fridge 3 times before I remembered I had left it on the counter. Normal stuff. The kind of thing anyone does. But in their edited version it looked like I was lost. Confused. Not in my right mind. There were dozens of videos. All edited the same way. Showing me putting things in wrong places. Forgetting things. Looking confused. But I had not done those things. Not really. They had cut out the parts where I figured it out. Where I found what I was looking for. Where I laughed at myself for being silly. They had taken my normal life and turned it into proof of insanity. I found the documents next. Legal papers already drawn up. Power of attorney forms with my name on them. Medical evaluations from a doctor I had never met saying I had dementia. Plans to sell my house. Plans to move me into a place called Sunrise Memory Care Facility. I looked up the facility. 1.5 stars on Google. Reviews that made my stomach turn. People talking about their parents dying there alone. About neglect and dirty rooms and staff that did not care. That is where they wanted to put me. While they spent my money on themselves. I found the messages between Robert and Thomas. Hundreds of them. Going back 6 months. Planning everything. Talking about how much money they would each get. How they would split it up. How Robert would get the house and Thomas would get a percentage for helping with the legal work. There were messages about Marcus too. About sending him away to military school as soon as they got control of my money. About how he was too attached to me. Too much trouble. Better off gone. They were planning to throw us both away. Me and my grandson. Like we were trash. I read until my eyes hurt. Until I felt sick. Until I thought I might throw up or scream or both. Then I closed the laptop and sat in the dark. But I did not cry. I was done crying. Now I was angry. Furious. They thought I was old and weak and easy to fool. They thought they could do this to me and I would just accept it. They did not know who they were dealing with. The next morning I woke up early and got dressed nice. Put on my church clothes even though it was Monday. Did my hair and makeup. Looked at myself in the mirror and saw a woman who was ready for war. I called my friend Barbara. She had been my best friend since we were 30 years old. Worked at the school with me. Raised her kids while I raised mine. Buried her husband 2 years before I buried mine. We had been through everything together. Barbara, I said when she answered. I need help. Something bad is happening and I need someone I can trust. What is wrong, Rose? Her voice went sharp with worry. Are you okay? Can you come over? I do not want to talk about it on the phone. She was there in 20 minutes. Came in and sat down at my kitchen table and looked at me with those eyes that had seen everything. That knew me better than almost anyone. I told her everything. Showed her everything. Played the videos. Read the messages. Watched her face go from shock to anger to something I had never seen before. Pure rage. Those sons of bitches. She said. Excuse my language, but Rose. Those sons of bitches. Your own son. Your own brother. How dare they? I need a lawyer. Said. Someone who knows about this kind of thing. Someone who can help me fight back. I know someone. Barbara said. My cousin Denise. She is a lawyer. Does elder abuse cases. She is tough. Real tough. Let me call her right now. Barbara called her cousin. Explained the situation. Denise said she could meet me that afternoon. Said to bring everything I had. Said not to tell anyone what I was doing. That afternoon Barbara drove me to Denise's office. It was in a tall building downtown. Nice place. Professional. Denise was waiting for us. She was maybe 50 years old. Dressed in a black suit. Had her hair pulled back tight. Had eyes that did not miss anything. Mrs. Rose Johnson. She said, shaking my hand. Barbara told me what is happening. I'm so sorry. But I promise you, we are going to fix this. We sat in her office for 3 hours. Went through every video. Every document. Every message. Denise took notes. Questions. Made copies of everything. This is one of the worst cases I have ever seen. She said finally. And I have seen a lot. The fact that your brother is a financial advisor makes it even worse. He has a duty to protect his clients. Not rob them. If he has done this to other people, we can probably find them. Build a bigger case. Other people. Said. You think he has done this before? Men like your brother do not just wake up one day and decide to commit fraud. This took planning. Preparation. He knew exactly what he was doing. Which means he probably learned from experience. How do we stop them? Yes. First. Denise said. We file protective orders. Immediately. To stop them from accessing your bank accounts or filing any legal papers. Then we gather more evidence. Find out if your brother has other victims. Build a criminal case. And then. Pause. Then we expose them. Expose them how? Do they have any big events coming up? Anything public where a lot of people will see them? Thought about it. Robert has some kind of award ceremony next month. His company is getting an award. He is giving a speech. It is a big deal. He has been talking about it for weeks. Denise smiled. It was not a nice smile. It was the smile of a hunter who has just spotted prey. Perfect. That is when we do it. In front of everyone. No hiding. No backroom deals. We hit them where it hurts most. Their reputation. Over the next few weeks I became an actress. The best actress you ever saw. I played the role of a confused old woman who was getting worse every day. When Robert came to visit, I would ask him the same question twice. Forget what day it was. Put things in wrong places while he was watching. I could see him trying not to smile. Could see him thinking his plan was working. Angela started coming over more. Said she wanted to help me organize things. She would move stuff around when she thought I was not looking. Put my keys in weird places. Hide my glasses. Try to make me think I was losing my mind. But I knew. I knew everything. And I was documenting it all right back. Barbara helped me set up my own cameras. Tiny ones they would never notice. We hid them in books and plants and picture frames. Caught Angela moving things. Caught Robert going through my mail. Caught Thomas coming over when I was at church and looking through my files. Every bit of evidence went straight to Denise. She was building a case that would destroy them. Told me it was airtight. Told me they were going to prison. But I wanted more than prison. I wanted everyone to know what they had done. Wanted them humiliated. Wanted their lies exposed in the worst way possible. Marcus called me every night. I could hear the stress in his voice. Hear him trying to be brave. He said Robert and Angela were talking about the paperwork. Said they were planning to file it the week after the awards ceremony. Said I had to be ready. I'm ready, baby. Told him. More ready than they know. The awards ceremony was at the Grand Hotel downtown. Fancy place. Black tie event. 500 people. All of Robert's business friends and clients. The mayor was going to be there. The press. Everyone who mattered in real estate and business. Robert was getting the Community Leadership Award. For his integrity and commitment to family values. They were going to put his picture in the paper. Give him a plaque. Let him give a speech about how important family was to him. I almost laughed when he told me about it. Almost. But I kept my face neutral. Kept playing my role. They did not invite me at first. Robert said it was because it would be too much for me. Too confusing. Better if I stayed home and rested. But I insisted. Told him I wanted to see my son get his award. Wanted to be proud of him. Wanted to support him. He could not say no without looking suspicious. So he got me a ticket. Told me to dress nice. Said he would pick me up. That is okay, baby. Said. Barbara will bring me. I do not want you to have to worry about me on your big night. He looked relieved. Said that would be better. Said he would see me there. I bought a new dress for the occasion. Dark purple. Elegant. Made me look strong. Barbara did my hair. I put on my best jewelry. The pearls David gave me for our 20th anniversary. The watch Robert gave me when he graduated college. Back when he still loved me. Or at least I thought he did. The night of the ceremony Barbara drove me to the hotel. We got there early. Denise was already inside. She had arranged everything. Had seats for us at a table near the front. Had a video crew ready. Had security on standby. Had even called a friend at the district attorney's office to make sure someone official was there to witness everything. Robert was already there when I walked in. Wearing a tuxedo. Looking handsome. Looking like a man who had it all together. Like a man of integrity. When he saw me his smile froze for just a second. Like he had not expected me to actually come. But then he recovered. Came over and kissed my cheek. Mama, you look beautiful. Thank you, baby. I'm so proud of you. Angela was there too. Wearing a dress that probably cost more than my car. Smiling that fake smile. She came over and hugged me. Held on just a little too long. Like she was checking to make sure I was real. So glad you could make it, Mama Rose. She said. This is such a special night. Certainly is. Said. I think we will all remember this night for a very long time. Thomas was sitting at another table. He waved when he saw me. I waved back. Sweet as pie. Like I did not know what he had done. What he was planning. The ceremony started. There were speeches and awards and a lot of important people talking about business and community and values. I sat through all of it. Patient. Waiting. Finally it was time for Robert's award. They called him up to the stage. Everyone applauded. He stood there at the podium holding his plaque. Looking out at all those people who admired him. Who trusted him. Who thought he was a good man. He started his speech. Talked about hard work and dedication. Talked about following your dreams. And then he talked about family. My mother taught me everything I know about integrity, he said, looking right at me. Dorothy Rose Johnson. Raised me by herself after my father died. Taught me to be honest. To work hard. To take care of the people you love. Everything I am today I owe to her. The audience applauded. Some people looked at me and smiled. Smiled back. But inside I was counting down. 3. 1. I stood up. The room went quiet. People looked confused. Robert looked panicked. I walked toward the stage. Denise was right behind me. So was Barbara. So were two police officers who had been waiting outside. Mrs. Johnson. The host said, "Would you like to say something?" Said. My voice was strong, clear, carried through the whole room. "I would like to say something about family values." Robert tried to speak. Maybe we should sit down," said. And for the first time in his life my son sat down when I told him to. "My son just told you all that I taught him about integrity," I said to the crowd. "About honesty. About taking care of the people you love. But what he did not tell you is that for the past 6 months he has been secretly recording me in my own home. Editing videos to make me look like I have dementia. Planning to have me declared incompetent so he can steal my life savings and put me in a nursing home where people go to die." The room erupted. People gasping. Talking. Cameras flashing. Robert tried to stand up, but one of the police officers was already moving toward the stage. "That is not true," Robert said. His voice was shaking. "Mama, you are confused. You are not well." "I am perfectly well," said. "And I have proof. Hours of unedited video showing what you really did. Messages between you and my brother Thomas planning every detail. Documents showing the nursing home you picked out. 1.5 stars. The cheapest one you could find. While you planned to split my $1.4 million between you." Thomas tried to leave. Tried to slip out the back. But the other police officer was already there. Already blocking his path. My lawyer Denise stepped forward. "I am Denise Martinez. I represent Mrs. Johnson. We have filed criminal charges against Robert Johnson, Angela Johnson, and Thomas Mitchell for elder abuse, fraud, conspiracy, and attempted theft. We have restraining orders preventing them from accessing any of Mrs. Johnson's accounts or property. And we have evidence that Thomas Mitchell has done this same thing to at least 3 other elderly clients, including a woman named Helen Wright who died in the same facility they planned to put Mrs. Johnson in." The room was chaos now. Press taking pictures. People shouting questions. Robert trying to explain. Angela crying. Thomas demanding a lawyer. But I just stood there calm. Looking at my son. The boy I had raised. The man who had tried to destroy me. "You did this to yourself," I said quietly. Just to him. "I would have given you anything if you had just asked. If you had just loved me the way I loved you. But you chose greed over family. You chose money over your own mother. Now you have to live with that choice." The police put handcuffs on Robert. Put them on Angela. Led them out through the crowd while cameras flashed and people whispered and the whole world watched the perfect family fall apart. Thomas tried to talk his way out of it. Tried to say it was a misunderstanding. But Denise had already presented the evidence to the district attorney. Had already lined up his other victims to testify. He was going down and he knew it. Marcus was waiting outside. Barbara had picked him up and brought him. When I walked out of that hotel with my head held high, he ran to me. Hugged me so tight I could barely breathe. "I'm sorry, Grandma." He was crying. "I'm so sorry I did not tell you sooner. You told me when it mattered, baby." Said. "You saved my life. You saved both our lives." We drove home that night. Me and Barbara and Marcus. The news was already everywhere. Video from the ceremony was going viral. Everyone was talking about the grandmother who exposed her family's plot on live television. My phone would not stop ringing. But I did not answer. Just went home. Made tea. Sat in my kitchen with the people who really loved me. "What happens now?" Marcus asked. "Now we fight," said. "They will try to make deals. Try to get out of it. But Denise says we have them cold. Says they are looking at serious prison time." "What about me?" Marcus said. "Where do I go?" "You stay here," said. "With me. Where you belong." "I already talked to Denise about it. We are filing for custody. You are never going back to that house." He started crying again. 17 years old and crying like a baby. But I understood. He had been so brave for so long. Now he could finally let go. The next few months were hard. Robert and Angela and Thomas all hired expensive lawyers. Tried to fight the charges. Tried to say I was lying. That I had manipulated everything. That I was the one who was crazy. But we had the evidence. We had the unedited videos showing what they really did. We had their messages planning everything. We had the testimony of Thomas's other victims. Women who had lost everything to his schemes. Families who had watched their mothers and grandmothers waste away in terrible facilities while Thomas pocketed their money. Trial lasted 4 weeks. Every day Marcus and I went to court. Sat there and listened to the whole ugly truth come out. Watched lawyers try to defend the indefensible. Robert took the stand. Tried to claim he was just worried about me. Just trying to help. But when they played the video of him and Angela talking in the car about splitting my money, about sending Marcus away, about how I was too old to need it anyway, the jury saw through his lies. Thomas tried to claim it was just aggressive financial planning, that he had not done anything illegal. But when 3 elderly women testified about how he had stolen from them, how he had isolated them from their families, how he had put them in facilities and taken their money, the jury stopped believing him too. Angela did not even try to defend herself. Just cried and said Robert had made her do it. But we had video of her moving things in my house. Had messages showing she was in on it from the start. Nobody felt sorry for her. The verdict came back guilty on all counts. Robert got 12 years. Angela got 8. Thomas got 20 because of his other victims. Because of the woman who died. When the judge read the sentences, I felt Marcus grab my hand. Felt him squeeze tight. I looked at him and saw tears running down his face. "It is over, baby," I whispered. "It is finally over." But it was not quite over. Because after the sentencing, Robert asked to speak to me. The guard said he wanted one visit. One chance to talk. Thought about saying no. Thought about walking away and never looking back. But something in me needed to hear what he had to say. Needed to know if there was any part of my son left in there. Any part of the boy I had raised. So I went to the jail. Sat across from him with thick glass between us. Picked up the phone and looked at his face. He had lost weight. Had dark circles under his eyes. Looked older than his 45 years. "Mama," he said. His voice cracked. "I'm so sorry. I know that does not mean anything now. I know I can never take back what I did. But I need you to know. I'm sorry." "Oui." "Yes. That is all I want to know. Why did you do it?" He was quiet for a long time. Then he said, "I was angry. Angry that Dad died and left you everything. Angry that you had all this money and you were just sitting on it. Had debts, business loans. I needed cash and you had it just sitting there. And I thought, she is old. She does not need it. She's just going to die soon anyway. Why should she have it when I could use it now?" I listened to him talk and realized something sad. He had never grown up. Was still that selfish little boy who wanted what he wanted when he wanted it. Who could not think past his own needs. "You never asked me," said. "If you needed money you could have just asked. I would have helped you." "No," he said. But I did not want to ask. I wanted to take. I wanted to feel powerful. Like I was in control. "Now," said. "Now you have nothing. No business. No wife. No freedom. And no mother." He looked at me then. Really looked at me. "Mama, please. You are all I have left. I am not yours anymore," Robert said. "You gave up the right to call me your mother when you put those cameras in my house. When you edited those videos. When you picked out that facility to throw me away in. You stopped being my son the day you decided I was worth more to you dead than alive." He started crying then. Big gasping sobs. But I felt nothing. No pity. No love. Nothing. He had killed whatever I felt for him. I stood up. Put the phone back. Walked away without looking back. And I never went back again. Marcus graduated high school with honors. Got a full scholarship to college. Started studying law because he said he wanted to help people like me. Wanted to fight for people who could not fight for themselves. I started volunteering with an elder rights organization. Started giving talks at community centers and churches. Telling my story. Warning people about what can happen. Teaching them how to protect themselves. Denise and I started a foundation. Used some of my money to help elderly people who were being abused but could not afford lawyers. We helped dozens of people in the first year alone. Stopped families from stealing. Stopped nursing homes from neglecting. Made sure people knew their rights. And slowly, very slowly, I started to heal. Started to feel like myself again. Started to trust people again. Barbara stayed by my side through everything. So did my church family. So did people I barely knew who reached out because they had seen my story and wanted to help. I learned something important through all of this. Family is not just blood. Family is who shows up when things get hard. Who tells the truth even when it hurts. Who fights for you when you cannot fight for yourself. Marcus was my family. Barbara was my family. Denise was my family. All the people who stood with me were my family. Robert and Thomas and Angela. They were just people I used to know. 5 years later I was sitting on my front porch with Marcus. He was home from college for the weekend. Tall and strong and smart. Everything I had hoped he would be. "Grandma," he said. "Can I ask you something?" "Anything, baby." "Do you ever regret it? Exposing them like that? In front of everyone? Do you ever wish you had just handled it quietly? Thought about it. Really thought about it." Then I said, "Well, I do not regret it. They needed to be exposed. Needed everyone to see what they really were. Because if I had stayed quiet they would have just done it to someone else. Maybe they already had. But by going public, by making it loud and ugly and impossible to ignore, maybe I saved someone else from going through what I went through." "You are the bravest person I know," Marcus said. "I am not brave, baby. I just refuse to be a victim. There is a difference." We sat there in the sunshine, drinking sweet tea, watching the neighbors walk by, living a life that was mine. A life I had fought for and won. My phone rang. It was Denise. She said there was another case. Another elderly woman who needed help. Whose family was trying to steal from her. Could I come talk to her? Help her find the courage to fight back? "Course," said. "Give me the address. I will be there tomorrow. 'Cause that is what I do now. I help people fight back. Help them find their strength. Help them understand that being old does not mean being helpless. That having gray hair does not mean having a weak mind. That 70 years of living means 70 years of surviving. And if you can survive that long you can survive anything. Even betrayal by your own family. Even cameras in your smoke detector. Even people trying to steal your whole life. You can survive. And you can fight back. And you can win. I am living proof. They tried to break me. Tried to make me think I was losing my mind. Tried to steal everything my husband and I had worked our whole lives to build. But I did not break. Bent. I adapted. Fought back. And I won. That evening after Denise called I made dinner for Marcus and me. Nothing fancy. Just chicken and rice and vegetables. The kind of simple meal I had been making for 50 years. We ate together at the kitchen table. Talked about his classes. About his girlfriend. About normal everyday things. This is what they tried to take from me. This peace. This simplicity. This life. But they failed. The next morning I drove to meet the woman Denise told me about. Her name was Patricia Chen. She was 73 years old. Lived in a nice house in the suburbs. Had 2 daughters who she thought loved her. But her daughters had started asking questions. Questions about her memory. About her judgment. About whether she could really handle living alone. They had started talking about power of attorney. About making decisions for her. About what was best. Patricia was scared. Could feel something was wrong but could not prove it. Did not know what to do. I sat with her in her living room and told her my story. All of it. Did not leave anything out. Watched her face go from disbelief to recognition to fury. "That is what they are doing to me," she said. "Moving my things. Making me think I am forgetting. I thought I was going crazy." "You are not crazy," said. "You are being manipulated. But we can stop it. We can fight back. But you have to be brave. You have to be willing to expose them. To make it public. To let people see the truth. She looked at me with tears in her eyes. They are my daughters. I love them. No, said. I loved my son too. But love does not mean letting people destroy you. Love does not mean being a victim. Sometimes the most loving thing you can do is hold people accountable for their actions. She nodded slowly. He said. Tell me what to do. Over the next few weeks I helped Patricia document everything. We set up cameras. Caught her daughters moving things. Going through her mail. Talking about her like she was already gone. We found a lawyer. Filed protective orders. Got her accounts secured. Made sure her daughters could not touch anything. And then, when they tried to file papers to get power of attorney, when they showed up at court with their fake concern and their edited videos, we were ready. Patricia stood up in that courtroom and told the truth. Showed the real videos. Showed the messages between her daughters planning how to split her money. Showed everything. The judge dismissed their petition immediately. Issued restraining orders. Referred the case to the district attorney for criminal investigation. Patricia's daughters tried to apologize. Tried to say they were just worried. Just trying to help. But it was too late. The truth was out. Their mother knew what they had done. And she was never going to forget. I wish I could say that was the only case. That Patricia was the last person who needed help. But she was not. Over the next few years I helped dozens of people. Elderly people being abused by their own families. By financial advisors. By nursing homes. By people who saw them as easy targets. Some of them fought back and won. Got their money back. Got justice. Got their dignity restored. Some of them were too scared. Too tired. Too broken. They gave up. Let their families take everything. Spent their last years in facilities they hated. Died alone and forgotten. Those were the cases that hurt the most. The ones I could not save. The ones who could not find the strength to fight. But I kept trying. Kept telling my story. Kept showing people that it was possible to fight back. That being old did not mean being helpless. Marcus graduated college. Got accepted to law school. Said he was going to specialize in elder law. Was going to spend his life protecting people like me. I cried when he told me. Cried because I was proud. Because he had taken the worst experience of his life and turned it into purpose. Into meaning. On his graduation day I sat in the audience and watched him walk across that stage. Watched him get his diploma. Watched him become the man I always knew he could be. After the ceremony he came over and hugged me. Thank you, Grandma, he said. For everything. For raising me. For fighting back. For showing me what real strength looks like. You did that yourself, baby. Said. I just loved you. That is all I did. That was enough. He said. More than enough. We took pictures. Celebrated with Barbara and Denise and all the people who had become our family. Laughed and ate and talked about the future. That night I went home alone. Sat on my porch in the dark. Thought about everything that had happened. Everything I had been through. I thought about David. Wondered what he would think of it all. Would he be proud of me? Would he be ashamed that our son turned out the way he did? Would he be sad that our family fell apart? I like to think he would be proud. Proud that I fought back. Proud that I did not let them win. Proud that I turned my pain into purpose. Car pulled up. Marcus got out. Thought you went home. Said. I did. He said. But I wanted to come back. Wanted to make sure you were okay. I'm okay, baby. Better than okay. He sat down next to me. We sat in comfortable silence for a while. Then he said, Dad wrote me a letter. My heart stopped. Robert. What did he say? He said he was sorry. Said he thinks about me every day. Said he hopes someday I can forgive him. Marcus paused. He asked if I would visit him. Do you want to? Yes. I do not know. Marcus said. Part of me wants to. Wants to see if he has really changed. He is really sorry. But another part of me is just angry. Angry that he tried to hurt you. Angry that he was going to throw me away. Angry that he destroyed our family. You do not have to decide right now. said. You have time. And whatever you decide, I will support you. This is your choice, not mine. Would you ever visit him? Marcus asked. Oh, said. I made my peace with what happened. But that does not mean I forgive him. That does not mean I want him in my life. He made his choices. Now he lives with them. Marcus nodded. Understand. But you are not me. Continued. You are young. You have your whole life ahead of you. Maybe you need to see him. Maybe you need to hear him say he is sorry face to face. Maybe that will help you move on. Or maybe it will not. But either way, it is your choice. Life. Your decision. Thank you, Grandma, he said, for always letting me choose. For never forcing me. That is what love is, baby. Giving people the freedom to choose. Even when their choices hurt us. 3 months later, Marcus went to visit Robert. Came back quiet, thoughtful. Would not talk about it much. Just said it was hard. Said Robert looked old. Said he cried. Said he seemed sincere. But Marcus did not go back. Said once was enough. Said he had heard what he needed to hear. Now he could move forward. Understood. Forgiveness is complicated. Messy. Different for everyone. There is no right way to do it. No timeline. No rules. You just do what feels right for you. For me, right meant keeping Robert in my past. Meant not letting him back into my life. Meant protecting my peace. For Marcus, right meant one visit. One conversation. One chance to hear his father say he was sorry. Then moving on. We were both right. Both healing in our own ways. Years passed. Got older. My hair went completely white. My hands got more wrinkled. My back started hurting more. But my mind stayed sharp. My spirit stayed strong. Kept volunteering. Kept helping people. Kept telling my story to anyone who would listen. I spoke at conferences, law schools, senior centers, told thousands of people what happened to me, warned them about the signs of financial abuse, taught them how to protect themselves. Some people thought I was bitter, thought I should let it go, move on, forgive and forget. But I was not bitter. I was informed. I was aware. I was protective. There is a difference. Bitter people let their pain poison them. Let it make them mean and small and suspicious of everyone. I did not do that. I still loved people. Still trusted people. Still opened my heart to new relationships and new experiences. I just did it with my eyes open. With boundaries. With awareness. That is not bitterness. That is wisdom. Marcus got married when he was 30. Married a wonderful woman named Jennifer who worked as a social worker. Who understood family trauma. Who loved him completely. I walked him down the aisle. Stood in for his father. Cried happy tears as I gave him away. At the reception he gave a speech. Thanked everyone for coming. Thanked Jennifer for loving him. And then he thanked me. My grandmother saved my life. He said. When I was 17 years old, I found out my father was planning to hurt her. To steal from her. To throw her away. And I was terrified. Terrified of what would happen if I told. Terrified of losing my family. But I told her anyway. Because she had always taught me that doing the right thing matters more than doing the easy thing. And she took that information and she fought back. She exposed them. She stopped them. He saved us both. People do not talk much about grandmothers as heroes. But my grandmother is my hero. She showed me what real strength looks like. What real love looks like. What real integrity looks like. Everything I am today. Everything I will ever be. I owe to her. He raised his glass. To Grandma Rose. The strongest woman I know. Everyone stood up. Raised their glasses. Toasted me while I sat there crying. Not sad tears. Happy tears. Proud tears. This was why I fought. This moment. This young man who had become everything I hoped he would be. This life we had built together after everything fell apart. This was worth it. All of it. Every hard moment. Every painful memory. Every tear. It was worth it for this. Jennifer gave me a hug after the speech. Thank you for raising such an amazing man. She said. Thank you for teaching him how to love. I did not teach him that, said. I just showed him. The rest was up to him. Well, he learned well, he said. I am so lucky to have him. And so lucky to have you as family. Family. That word meant something different to me now. Meant something deeper, richer, more intentional. Family was not just who you were born to. It was who showed up, who stayed, who fought for you and with you and beside you. Marcus was my family. Jennifer was my family. Barbara was my family. Denise was my family. Robert was just a name. Memory. Lesson learned. On my 80th birthday, Marcus and Jennifer threw me a party. Invited everyone who had been part of my journey. Barbara and Denise and all the people from church. The victims I had helped. The lawyers I had worked with. The journalists who had told my story. Over 200 people came. Filled up the community center. Brought food and gifts and love. They had made a video. Interviews with people whose lives I had touched. Elderly people who said I gave them courage to fight back. Lawyers who said I changed how they approached elder abuse cases. Journalists who said my story opened their eyes to a problem they had not known existed. I sat there and watched this video and realized something. My pain had purpose. My trauma had meaning. What Robert and Thomas and Angela did to me was terrible. Unforgivable. But I had taken that terrible thing and turned it into something good. I had helped people. Hundreds of people. Maybe thousands. Had given them hope. Had shown them they were not alone. Had proven that it was possible to fight back and win. That night after everyone left. After Marcus and Jennifer drove me home and said goodnight. I sat in my living room and looked around. His house. This beautiful house that David and I bought 40 years ago. That we filled with love and memories and life. This house that Robert tried to steal. That he wanted to sell so he could spend my money. It was still mine. Still full of my things. My pictures. My furniture. My memories. They did not take it. They did not take anything. I won. And not just in court. Not just legally. I won in every way that mattered. Kept my home. Kept my dignity. Kept my sanity. Kept my grandson. Kept my peace. I turned my trauma into purpose. Turned my pain into power. Turned my victimhood into victory. And most importantly, I never let them make me small. Never let them convince me I was less than I was. Never let them steal my sense of self. I knew who I was. A strong woman. Smart woman. A survivor. And nothing they did could change that. I stood up. Walked to my bedroom. The bedroom where they had put a camera. Where they had watched me in my most private moments. Where they had violated my space and my trust. I looked up at the smoke detector. The one I had replaced. The one that was just a smoke detector now. Nothing else. This is my room. I said out loud. My house. My life. And nobody will ever take it from me again. I got ready for bed. Said my prayers. Thanked God for everything He had brought me through. For the strength He gave me. For the people He put in my path. And then I went to sleep. Peaceful. Content. Free. 'Cause I was free. Free from fear. Free from manipulation. Free from people who pretended to love me but only wanted to use me. Free to live the rest of my life on my own terms. Surrounded by people who actually cared. Doing work that actually mattered. Being exactly who I wanted to be. They tried to break me. Tried to steal from me. Tried to destroy me. But I am still here. Still standing. Still fighting. Still winning. And I will be here until God calls me home. Living my life. Telling my story. Helping others. Making a difference. 'Cause that is what survivors do. We survive. We thrive. We overcome. And we never, ever, let them win. Marcus became one of the top elder law attorneys in the state. Won case after case. Protected hundreds of elderly people from abuse. Made sure families like ours could not destroy the people they were supposed to love. He had 2 children. My great-grandchildren. Beautiful babies who called me Gigi. Who loved spending time with me. Who knew nothing about what had happened except that their great-grandmother was strong and brave and loved them completely. I watched them grow. played with them, told them stories, gave them the kind of love I had tried to give Robert, the kind he had thrown away. But these children, these beautiful innocent children, they would never know what their grandfather did, would never know the pain he caused, would only know the family that came after, the family built on truth and love and loyalty. That was my legacy, not the abuse, not the betrayal, not the court case. My legacy was Marcus, was Jennifer, was those babies, was the hundreds of people I helped, was the laws that got changed because of my story, was the awareness that got raised, was the difference I made. Robert tried to erase me, tried to make me disappear, tried to reduce me to a bank account and a house and assets to be divided. But I was so much more than that. I was a mother, a grandmother, a great-grandmother, friend, fighter, a survivor, advocate, a voice for the voiceless. I was Dorothy Rose Johnson, and I mattered. My life mattered. My story mattered. And no one, not my son, not my brother, not anyone, could take that away from me. I lived to be 92 years old. Lived long enough to see Marcus argue before the state Supreme Court, to see elder abuse laws strengthened because of cases like mine, to see my great-grandchildren start school, to see the foundation I started help over 1,000 people. Lived long enough to know I had made a difference, that my life meant something, that my pain had not been for nothing. And when I finally died, peacefully in my sleep in my own bed in my own house, I died knowing I had won, completely and totally won. Marcus gave my eulogy, stood before a church packed with people who loved me, who admired me, who had been touched by my story. My grandmother was the strongest person I ever knew, he said, not because she never fell, but because every time she fell, she got back up. Every time someone tried to knock her down, she stood taller. She taught me that strength is not about never being hurt. It is about what you do after you are hurt. It is about refusing to stay down, refusing to give up, refusing to let the people who hurt you win. She taught me that family is a choice, that blood does not make you family. Love does, loyalty does, showing up does. She taught me that it is never too late to fight back, never too late to stand up, never too late to say no more. And most of all, she taught me that survivors do not just survive. They thrive. They overcome. They turn their pain into purpose. My grandmother did not just survive what happened to her. She transformed it, used it to help others, change laws, to raise awareness, to make sure what happened to her would not happen to as many others. That is her legacy, not the abuse, but what she did with it, how she rose above it. How she turned tragedy into triumph. And I will spend the rest of my life trying to be half the person she was. Trying to have half her courage, half her strength, half her grace. I love you, Grandma. Thank you for everything. Thank you for saving me. Thank you for showing me what real love looks like. Thank you for being my hero. They buried me next to David, right where I wanted to be. Home at last with the man I loved. The man who would have been so proud of everything I did, everything I became. My story did not end with my death. It lived on in Marcus, in the people I helped, in the laws that changed, in the awareness that grew. It lived on in every elderly person who heard my story and found the courage to fight back, in every family who learned to recognize the signs of abuse, in every lawyer who took on an elder abuse case, in every journalist who investigated these crimes. My pain had purpose. My trauma had meaning. My fight had impact. And that is what matters. Not that I was hurt, but that I refused to let that hurt define me. Refused to let it break me. Refused to let it be the end of my story. I turned my worst moment into my greatest triumph. Turned my deepest pain into my highest purpose. Turned my tragedy into my legacy. And if there is anyone out there reading this, anyone going through something similar, anyone who feels alone or scared or helpless, I want you to know something. You are not alone. You are not helpless. You are stronger than you know. Fight back. Speak up. Tell someone. Document everything. Get help. Do not suffer in silence. Do not let them make you think you are crazy. Do not let them steal your life. You matter. Your life matters. Your dignity matters. Your peace matters. And you have the right to fight for it. The right to protect it. The right to say no. Do not be afraid. Be brave. Be strong. Be like I was. Stand up. Fight back. Win. Because you can. Promise you. You can. I did. And so can you. This is my story. The story of how my family tried to destroy me and how I fought back and won. The story of betrayal and courage and justice and triumph. But more than that, it is the story of survival. Of refusing to be a victim. Of turning pain into power. It is a reminder that age does not equal weakness. That gray hair does not mean a weak mind. That 70 or 80 or 90 years of living means 70 or 80 or 90 years of surviving. And if you can survive that long, you can survive anything. Even betrayal by the people you love most. Even cameras in your smoke detectors. Even plots to steal everything you have worked for. You can survive. You can fight. You can win. I am proof. My name is Dorothy Rose Johnson. I was a mother. A grandmother. A great-grandmother. A survivor. Fighter. Voice.